Welcome to Storytime with Tallulah. Today's reading comes from r/TalesFromRetail. Our first story is titled, Lady Insists That I'm Her Daughter, That I'm High, and That She Don't Need No Man. This happened a few weeks ago, but I just joined the sub today and want to share. We regularly get strange, rude, or hostile customers. There's a particular husband and wife who come in frequently. It's always an ordeal when they show up. They love to talk, and while we will entertain it briefly, there's usually not more than 2 people working a shift, so we don't always have time to deal with it. On this day, the lady came in first. She immediately hit me with the, "You look high." I get that a lot. I just have tiny eyes, nothing I can do about it. If I was high, I wouldn't lie about it, but I wasn't, so I firmly but calmly insisted so. She wasn't believing it. She told me she has a daughter the same age, so she knows what it looks like to be high. I eventually let it go because she wasn't budging. I decided it would be easiest to go along with it, whatever she said, so she'd get her stuff and leave. After that, she proceeded to ask me what size jeans I wear because I look tiny. I reluctantly told her. Then she decided that I was her new daughter and she wanted a fist bump. Internally cringing, I obliged. Throughout the course of her visit, she kept referring to me as her daughter. She needed my reassurance that I was still, in fact, her daughter. Once she picked out her stuff, I started to feel victorious. Almost there! Then her husband comes in. He loves to ask a million questions about things he is never going to buy, so I help him out. Yes, finally time to pay. But wait! He refuses to pay for her. They get into a fight. She can't figure out how to make her card work, and that annoyed him. He gets mad and slams her brand new item on the glass counter and walks out. She proceeds to tell me all about how they are going to get a divorce, and it's been a long time coming, and she don't need no man. And he can find somebody else to ride him around to sell drugs. He left his own item in the store, and she saw it. Immediately said, "I bought this," stuffed it in her purse. You didn't see anything. She actually asked me to put it behind the counter and pretend I didn't know where it was, but I refused, not getting in the middle of that. She finally left shortly after, which ended up being about an hour. And guess what? They came back together a week later as if nothing had happened. Wow, that's aren't people fun? Our next story is titled, Saw Something Good Happen Today. I work as a cashier at a big box retailer. Today I had a customer come in. Let's call her customer 1. She had a return without a receipt. Usually we put a refund like that on a store credit, but customer 1 said a store by her house assured her we could look up her receipt and put the refund back on her card. We don't normally pull up receipts like this, as this info isn't accessible through our main registers, but my manager was feeling very generous and went to the back to pull up customer 1's receipt. While she was waiting, I rang up another customer. We'll call customer 2. Customer 2 had about 3 bags worth of merchandise in her cart, which is no small amount. When it came time for her to pay, customer 2 discovered she had left her wallet at home, and she didn't have Apple Pay or another service set up on her phone. Currently, my store isn't letting us hold items overnight, and customer 2 said she wasn't able to go home and retrieve her wallet before our store closed. I was about to cancel customer 2's transaction when customer 1 piped up and suggested customer 2 simply Venmo her the money and she'll pay the bill. I stood for a few seconds in quiet shock because here was customer 1 doing a very kind thing when she could have easily been upset from waiting on her own transaction. The Venmo went through and customer 2 was able to leave with her purchases. Customer 1 was cheery and patient all the way through her own transaction. It's days like today that give me a little more hope. Wow, that is something. That's a really good story, actually. That made me feel good. That put me in a good mood. I like hearing stuff like that. It gives me hope too. Our next story is titled, That Time a Customer Tried Using My Dead Uncle as Leverage to Bargain. This happened a couple weeks ago, but still upsets me when I think about it. My place of work is a family business. My grandfather founded our store, my dad and mom bought it from him, and I'm now working the desk along with some of my siblings. My mom and dad didn't originally plan to be sole owners. However, my uncle was also very involved with the business and wanted to go in on it with them. Unfortunately, about 6 months before the deal was supposed to happen, he unexpectedly suffered a stroke and died while walking his dogs. It was so fast. I never got the chance to say goodbye. He was out less than 2 hours after he went down. He was young too, only 42. I was wrecked emotionally for a long time after that. My parents pulled out of the deal and waited another 7 months past the original date to buy the business, both to heal further and to put things in order. My uncle knew codes to safes, passwords to accounts, all that, and when he went, he took all that with him. So it was really difficult to track everything down. We now have a memorial photo in the store with his death date and a little message about what he's done for the store. Every so often, a customer who met him once will give us their condolences. While I love my uncle and enjoy the memorial picture, sometimes it really hurts to have someone who barely knew him try to comfort you while you're just trying to work. However, this customer took it a step too far. As soon as she came in, she went to our higher end product and began to complain that everything was too pricey. The that her prices used to be lower. They weren't. Before spotting the memorial photo, she looks towards me and says, "Oh, Uncle used to bargain with me all the time. It's such a shame." Because I'm stupid and try to give people the benefit of the doubt, I assume she's giving a weird kind of condolence. I don't like talking about him in front of strangers, so I switch topics and direct her towards our lower end goods that are more in her price range. She gives me a weird look and continues on bemoaning our prices and how Uncle would always make them lower for her. Then out of nowhere, as I'm talking about our mid-range products, she blurts, "Do you not even care?" I turn totally stone-faced. "Thanks, face mask." And as calmly as I can, I say, "Of course I do, but unfortunately I can't do anything about it. I don't and cannot negotiate with you." I'd like to say that I blew up and threw her out of the store, but in the end she settled on 2 lower-end products and I processed her order as quickly as I could to get her out of my face. One thing I did do was simply not inform her on a sale we were having on one of her items. Oops, we'll just call that the $50 dead uncle fee. Oh wow, I'm sorry for your loss. I know you just said you don't like people that don't know you can, giving you condolences, okay? So, but yeah, it's no fun, and I'm sorry you had to deal with a person like that, especially when they're not only just being a negative person, but they're also using, a family member that had passed to try and barter business. That's weird. That's unfortunate. Our next story is titled, "Colorblind Man on Drugs Demands a Pink Fish." So this is an old story about 10 years old, but I used to work at a tropical fish store and people used to come from out of state and several states over to go to us because we were that good. We used to supply the aquarium nearby as well as all sorts of other things, so we had quite the reputation. Now the story takes place when I was about 18, and on this particular day I was working by myself with the owners in the back doing the books. This guy comes in and he looks semi-strong out, but honestly fish people are weird, so I didn't even think twice about it. He finds me in the store and asks me to help him pick out a pink fish for his mom's tank. Totally fine, right? We have pink fish. What could go wrong? I ask him what kind of tank he has. He says that his mom has African cichlids. I don't know what that word is. For any of you who don't know, they are a fancy type of fish, obviously from Africa, from the 3 lakes. And there are very many rules of who you can put together and how many you need to get of each kind because they can get territorial and will kill each other. So after having a long discussion, I understand what his options are and start leading him to different fish. Mind you, they were probably 3 actually pink fish he could have chosen, and at least 6 other species that had pink on them, either in a stripe or a spot, etc. I showed him the first fish and he says, "I asked for a pink fish." Okay. I show him the next fish. He gets slightly angrier and says, "Why aren't you showing me pink fish?" At this point, I am understanding still because technically the 2 fish I showed him could be considered peach colored or a pinkish albino, so I continue leading him to more options. He starts getting angry. At one point, he started cussing me out because I was keeping all the pink fish from him and that I just didn't want to sell him the fish and I was jerking him around. We ended up getting an argument about the fish, and then to prove his point, he points to a bright blue fish and yells, "Why can't I have this one? Just sell me a pink fish." Now, being an 18-year-old female, this kind of frightened me because I realized that I couldn't reason with him because he and I were not seeing the same color and he was escalating very, very quickly. I decided to offer that I get him my boss because my boss was amazing and has always said that if we were uncomfortable, just to go get him. And he quickly agrees that this is the best method of action since I refuse to show him pink fish. My boss comes out, quickly recognizes who this is and turns to me and says, "He's colorblind drug addict, just go sit in the back." So I got a nice 30-minute paid break while my boss dealt with him. For anyone wondering, he happily left with 3 blue fish that were blatantly pink. And while he was being cashed out, I could hear him talking about how rude I was for withholding all the good fish from him. Fish people are weird. Thanks for reading. Wow. Well, I mean, hey, if he insists that they're pink and that's what'll make him happy, just sell it to him and let him think what he wants. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. If you enjoy these types of videos, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that bell for notifications so you know when more videos come out. Thank you all for your continued support. It really means a lot. I truly appreciate it. If you'd like to join our Discord, the link for that's in the description below. It's an awesome place full of fantastic people. I think you'll enjoy it. It's a really cool community. So yeah, come by, say hello, let me know you're there. I'd love to see you. Also, if you'd like to follow me anywhere else on the internet, all of my social media links are listed below in the description as well if you would like to go do that. Anyways, I hope y'all are staying safe out there, and with that being said, we'll see you next time.